How are you doing? How are you doing this
I'm
evening?
good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Let's get right into it, Mariah.
All
And,
right,
and,
let's
and
go.
answer these like with your honest,
Yeah, I
your
have a
honest
different
opinion,
experience.
your
So,
honest perspective. So,
yeah, I
first
will.
question: Do childless men between the ages of 25 and 40 prefer to have children with women 35 plus or women in their mid 20s to early 30s? What do you think about that?
To be honest, I've had both experiences because I've already had my kids when I was young, married, divorced, and I'm 40 now, and my kids are like almost grown.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I've had both. I've had like men that are younger, like 32, 33, that want to date me and like they think I'm amazing and blah, blah, blah. And then they want to have kids, and I'm like, oh, that's a no go. Like,
Right.
that's a no go for me, right?
Right.
I've already done all that. I can't anymore. So, then I've had friends that, they want to do their thing and, and then they get to 40 and then they look for a younger woman because the stigma is, they're more fertile, the eggs aren't old, yada, yada, yada. Like, is the baby going to have health defect or birth defects, this, that, the other. And it's facts. At over 35, if this is your first baby, you are at high risk for birth defects and stuff like that. And that is just not something I wanted to do. And I had my kids on too young, obviously, but I mean, yes and no, I guess. Like, it's great now because I have teenagers. I'm 40. My youngest is 13. My oldest is almost 19. For me, that was great, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't recommend it. Like, be ready for children. So I think it can go both ways because I've literally met men. They're like, have my babies. And I'm like, I can't have babies. And then for me with the dating, it's like I have to know that right away because I don't even, like you said, be with somebody for a year or whatever. I can't do that. Like I'm not interested in just a year or two. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, and I agree. I agree. Like you said, you've had experiences to where, despite your age and you're dealing with younger men, they still want to like have serious relationships with you and want you to have their children. But yeah, there's always going to be
The no
anomalies
go.
and exceptions and stuff. But for the most though, do you like
It's
you said,
hard.
Sergi?
Like,
So, I mean, I called you Sergi, Mariah. Mariah, we're men, but like
yeah.
we know too. We know about geriatric pregnancy. We know that as women get older, their eggs reduce. Their
Risky.
good eggs reduce. We know that, like you said, after 35, birth defects,
I think
birth
it's even at
complications.
32, your eggs start to make a shift, but 35, it really makes a bigger shift, from what
So
I
if
remember.
a man knows that, what's like logically, what sense does it make for him to try to even go like see what that's about when he has a way
Hmm.
better chance of just coming over here, and the chances of it being like more smooth sailing is significantly
See,
higher than going over here.
there might be some people that they fall madly in love, and you see this all the time, and they go to every extent to do that. But yes, like you said, are
Hey,
the
Julia.
finances there? Do you have that money? 20, like, I'm in Canada, so I mean, that's at least 8 grand to freeze your eggs. If you can't carry the baby, we don't have to pay for a surrogate, but that's like 20 grand for the procedure. So there's like almost 30 grand just to have a baby. Like, if you have that money, then that's a great option for people. If you're in love and this is the person you choose, right?
Yeah, that's okay. Let's go. Okay, so second question: do you think most men between the ages of 25 and 40 that date older women, I'm just talking about like women, between like starting at age 35 and older, do you think that most of those men have plans, have serious long-term plans with them? What do you personally
I
feel?
actually don't think so. I think that this older, like, it was kind of a new thing to me. All these younger men like coming after me, and I'm like, what is this about? Like, come on,
Because
let's be
it's a
realistic.
thrill. It's a
It's a
thrill.
thrill, right? Older woman, oh, she's had kids, she looks good still. Like, oh, she's even had kids. Like, like I get that a
Right.
lot, and I'm like, it's a thrill. I had a 21-year-old hit on me. I was like, I could be your mother. Like, get out of here. Like, it's a thrill. It's a kick. They want that. So I feel like long term, there are going to be a small percentage that do, and the rest is probably, for shits and giggles a little bit and a
Right.
good time. And
Exactly.
some older women, I had my time too. I did a few things, a few years ago where I was like, yeah, I can get a 30-year-old. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this. I
Right.
even got a 27-year-old. I'm gonna admit it. I say I have no shame as meaning like I own everything I do.
Right.
So like I got a kick out of it too. You know what I mean? But
And
long term,
but women do get a kick. Those women do just the fact that like a young man is even like looking at you like in that way and like giving you that attention, and you and those women that are they get a kick out of it too. Like the whole
and you
cougar,
know,
like the
I
whole
kind of
cougar and
match with
milf
the
thing is a
younger.
real thing.
Yeah, I
So like,
match with the younger guys sexually. So it's like it's kind of like it works that way. But like unless they don't want kids, then it can't work long
right,
term.
right, exactly.
It's like that's it.
Thank you. Okay, so do you think a woman's education, accomplishments, career, success, etc., increases her marriage prospects in a man's eyes? How do you
I think
personally feel?
some of that is determined on the man's success because sometimes some men can measure, you know, you by their success and wonder what you're going to do to put to the relationship. So I think a little bit. I've had my success go against me in a sense because my success has been intimidating and this and blah blah blah. So I mean, I don't know that it's a number one thing, but I think that also can vary from person to person based on maybe their level of success. You know, some people, I dated a doctor, you know, he didn't have an issue with anything. He had his accomplishments, I had mine. We came together. You know, we just didn't work. But you know, I think some people that is important to them, and then some people I've had it sort of against me.
Let me ask you this though. Um, if if a do you think that if a man doesn't find a woman like physically attractive, that all of that stuff is going to mean anything at the end of the day?
No, not at all.
So if I
There
said
has to be an attraction. There has to be an attraction both ways. That's the number one thing. When you first meet somebody and you see somebody, you're like, ooh. And you get that, you know, that little thing. We're like, ooh, he's hot. Ooh, she's hot. Or she's beautiful. Whatever, whatever. You have to have that initial thing. That is a number one.
Chris, please request when I'm done talking to Mariah. I love to hear a man's perspective on this. But yeah, but Mariah, yeah, like I yeah, Taik. I didn't even Taik. I've been talking to like Sergi and Mariah. I didn't even see. I haven't been. I don't know what's been going on in the comments. I just seen his comment, just got rid of him. But no, but
I
Mariah,
think you
like
know in 90 seconds whether you are attracted to the other person.
right. But
You
that's
know.
that's the
If you
thing
don't
though.
feel it, you don't feel it.
As a woman, Mariah, I think you should be I think women should like if they want to pursue super higher education and certain careers, they should be
Yeah,
doing that for them, Mariah. Like Sergi said, a man
absolutely.
will appreciate that and he will respect that. But at the end of the day, if a man doesn't find you physically attractive, it's not like you can tell him like, well, I do this for a living and I got this degree and that's gonna make you more attractive to him. And like I told Nicole, the first woman that was on here, Mariah, degrees and what you do for work and stuff, that has no correlation to like how you are as a person, how you will be as a partner at the end of the day. So
I
what
don't
does
even
that
care
even
what you do for work. As long as like that's even like I've been out with very wealthy men. I've been out with men that are just trying to make it. I've like that stuff doesn't matter to me because I know that if you become a successful relationship, you can build something together. And
right?
I built my ex-husband and then you know we got divorced and he went off and you know whatever. But like I built that and I know that you can do that. So for me, money does not matter. Your success does not matter. I will meet you where you are and I will grow with you. And I expect the same in return. You could have, I've been out with guys that have millions and you know what? They're jerks, to be honest. They're jerks. They're self absorbed. I don't like people that are unkind. And money is not everything. I'm sorry, but it's not. We need it, but it's not everything.
Thank you.
It's
That's like
not.
that's
I would
interesting
go
for
out
you
with
to
a
say.
plumber if he treated me well. I would go out with a construction worker if he treated me well. I would go out with anybody almost if he treated me
So
well.
like ultimately it's going to come down to attraction first, like you said, there has to be attraction both ways and how that person treats you.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing for me. How do you make me feel? When the way you make me feel is so vital to me. It's my biggest thing in any kind of dating or relationship. it's my number one way of, deciding on whether I want to continue is how you make me feel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
construction
mean,
workers do make good money.
yeah, construction workers make good money. Yeah. So for any woman that's thinking that they're having a master's or a PhD or working a certain career is going to make them more wifey material in a man's eyes, I'm sorry, but that has
They
nothing
could
to
have
do.
those degrees and not how to put anything in the kitchen, or
Not
eventually
how to
change a
make, not know how
diaper,
to make
or
eggs.
do laundry, or clean the
Right.
house. Like, it's
Right.
just more than just a career. There's a lot of factors here. Being a mom is not easy. I was a mom at 21 years old. The year before, I was like, I don't want kids, blah 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 blah. I got pregnant. It changed like that the minute I had my baby. I was like mom mode. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this, Mariah. What like the childbearing process and the recovery process? Goodness, what age was more easier for you, when you were younger or when you were older?
When I was younger, because I had 21, 23, 25, 27. I had four daughters. 27 was the worst because I actually got postpartum depression very badly. That was the ultimate worst. Yeah, it was bad. I hemorrhaged after I had her, like nearly died. So the last two that happened to me, and that's why I stopped, because I was like, whoa, that was scary. So like I think things happen later. Like, I'm glad I had my babies in my 20s. I was married, blah 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 blah. And you don't have to be married. I don't want anybody to take that comment. For me, it was very important to be married at that age. I grew up very religious. I got pregnant. I was like, well, you got to marry me. That's how it went.
Right.
And we were together for 9 years. But yeah, I do think, and the other thing, it's no joke of a lie when you have babies, and either if you're nursing or you're bottle feeding, you still got to get your ass up. And guess what? The whole process of when they're a newborn, they have to feed every 3 hours. It takes an hour and a half from start to finish, settle, blah, 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 put the baby back down. And then in an hour and a half, the baby is up again. Like, it's no joke. So, like, you really have to be ready. And I would not want to do that in my 40s. I could barely wake up in the middle of the night to go pee now. Like, why I wouldn't want to do it? It's hard. It's hard. You need to
And
have
we
your youthfulness.
and we know these complications. And the woman I talked to earlier, like that I talked to last night, and everyone that the what two or three of y'all that have children that have been on here, they all said that it was the bearing process and the recovery was easier when they were younger, as opposed to the older they got and they were having children.
I bounced back after my first baby, 6 weeks. It was like I didn't even have a baby. Second baby, same thing. Third baby, oh no, no. And then I actually got pregnant when she was 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like no turnaround. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm not. So yeah, no, I would say definitely younger was the best turnaround and everything. So
Okay. Okay. So last one. So we have a beautiful 25-year-old woman, Mariah, and we have a beautiful 35-year-old woman, and we have met them. Let's say the man, he's between the ages of 25 and 40 again, and he's childless right now. He's focusing on building himself up. Getting his money up, his knowledge, his skills, blah blah blah. But he eventually does want to be married. He eventually does want to have a family, so he wants to have kids, and he wants to have a home and things of that nature, cars, things of that nature. Which one of those women do you think has more prospects for serious long-term relationships? The 25-year-old woman or the 35-year-old woman? And both of these women are childless.
right. So I think a man, if he's making those decisions, he's also looking at a timeline in his head. 25-year-old, they got time because, first of all, you got to date, you got to get to know each other, you got to have time, you got to figure shit out. There needs to be some time for that. So in my mind, I would think a man would probably choose the 25-year-old, because you're not just going to boom and get married and all want to have
Right,
babies and yada
right,
yada yada. So
right,
they're looking at that time frame. Not that there's nothing wrong with a 35 year
right. Nothing
old,
wrong with 35.
nothing wrong. I think like a lot of men, and I have a lot of guy friends and I have a lot of younger friends, they would be looking closer to their age or age bracket because they want to take their time and be ready. So he's probably thinking 5 years, date, this, that, the other. Time she's 30, We can have a baby. We can be married, have a baby, blah, 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 blah. So I think the younger woman, to be honest.
Man, y'all
That's
tell
just
me
me.
that. Y'all tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about, man.
You
All
do
the
know
women
what you're
that have,
talking
all the
about.
women
Next
that have
time-
come up here today have
Next
said
time, get
everything
me
up
in
here is
there. I'll
facts.
tell them what's up.
Like I like, and that's why I didn't like when they
You know
were like when these two women were yesterday were telling me that like basically I was wrong and didn't know what I was talking about. I was just like so taken aback because like I said, especially as women, y'all know way men know some things, but y'all know way more than men about bearing children and having children and when it's healthiest to have them and stuff like that. So even the little bit that men do know, why do you think that they're gonna like have a preference that when they do want to start having children of seeking out older women? It just don't make sense logically to me.
No, and you know what? I think a lot of women, and women are probably not going to like this comment coming from a woman. And I agree with, women's rights and everything, but I feel like some of it is going too far. When we are going outside, I understand people that, have problems having a baby. I get that. But when we are taking it so far, it'd be like me, I'll use me as an example. I had my tubes pulled out when I was 28 years old. I had 4 kids. I was done. That would be like me now going and trying to have a baby with a younger man, going through in vitro. I feel like that's really forcing too much. I'm trying to use the right words not to offend anybody. I just feel like it's going against the grain of, I already decided this. This is just a risk I shouldn't take. Now, somebody that hasn't had a baby, I can understand all that. But to wait until you are 40 seems careless to me, in my opinion. You know the facts, whatever. I understand you want to have your life, then freeze your eggs if that's what you want to do. You know what?
And
Maybe
hopefully
it
you
didn't
can
work
afford
out.
to
You
freeze
didn't
them.
find anybody. Freeze your eggs. That's
And
what I would do.
hopefully you can afford to freeze them because most people.
Yeah. I mean, I get that a lot of people aren't always so fortunate to, have babies and get together with somebody and all of that. But I think we take some things a little too far. Like, I'm a woman. I can do whatever I want. I can do this. I can do everything a man can do. No, I damn well can't. No, and nor do I want to do everything a man can do. I want my woman role, and I want the man to have his role, and then we are a partnership. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want that. That's what I want, and that's what I'll have.
And
But
and
that
and
comes with a
Taik
lot of experience. I've gone through a lot.
Taik said that's because a lot of women are in denial. I think that's
I
another
hear it.
thing
It's
too,
facts.
Mariah. Like people just be like a lot of women just be so disingenuous when it comes to certain things, and it's like you being disingenuous in what you're saying right now just logically is not making any sense. So you just must be in denial, or you must have feelings about whatever's being spoken about for whatever reason, like because it's just not adding up.
I think that people want to tell themselves to make themselves feel better. I'm a very blunt and honest person. I'm not for everybody, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But realistically, like I said, it'd be like me trying to go through in vitro right now after 4 children, almost grown, and forcing something. I don't know.
Yeah. Like what?
My kids would disown me. They would lose their damn mind. My oldest is 19 in a few days, next month. She's 1 year into university. If I told her she was gonna have a baby brother or sister, she would lose her freaking mind.
Right. Like why? Like why at
My mom did that. Oh, my mom did that. I was 15 when she already had me, my brother, and sister from my mom and dad. And then she had my younger sister when I was 15. Then when I was 20, like my oldest and my youngest sister are a year and a half apart.
Your oldest and your youngest are a year and a half apart?
No, my oldest and my youngest sister.
Oh, and your youngest sister
are a year and a half apart. I was almost 20 years old when she was born, and I was 20 years old when she was born, and like my mom was 40, so she was my age, and I just thought my mom was stupid. I was so mad at her. Like I was like, this is so stupid. Like I'm about to have a baby. Why are you having a baby?
bro. This is.
See, that's what I mean.
Crazy.
It's stupid. To
crazy.
me, it's stupid. I'm sorry. If people hate me because of what I'm saying, that's fine.
No, I just
join
like
the
that.
long list of people.
But I'm just having this conversation because, like I said, there were women that were co-signing what I said and was like, no, what he's saying is right. And there were men that were co-signing as well. But I just wanted to see like if there actually were like a good number of women that actually thought like these couple of women that had these extremist views, in my opinion. But
Yeah, no,
that's
not
not
me.
what I've been hearing here tonight, because it just don't make
Not
sense
me
to
at
think
all.
that way. What
I'm a realistic person.
right.
Everything is realistic to me, you know. And I've grown up a lot too. I am 40 now, so I do have a lot of experience. I've raised kids. I've had a divorce, had breakups. I've dated. Like it takes a bit to get to. You need the like I don't know. I think you somewhat need a little bit more time in life. So if I was a man or a woman, I would be looking for some. If I was 25, I would be looking around my age. I don't want to have somebody too much older than me, or too much younger. Like the last guy I dated was 7 years younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
He was educated up the yin yang, had degrees, but maturity level in relationship was just not there. It just wasn't there,
So
And
even
he
for
was
even
great
that
because
just goes to say, right? Even for men, it doesn't matter. Like you said, you have these degrees, you got whatever job, but maturity level when
but
it
that's
comes to
all you
relationships.
have is education. I need more than that. I need some personality. you know? So it's okay though. We're still friends.
Trying to tell y'all, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, like
The great thing with younger men is, the bedroom. Just saying. Because as you get older, the drive goes woo. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, that's what younger men for me are nice for.
What you got? Are you doing anything this weekend, or are you about to just be chilling?
We have some events for my business. So there's one tonight. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go. But yeah, nothing too crazy. It was our long weekend last weekend.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mariah, I appreciate you coming on here. I appreciate you speaking the truth. I appreciate you speaking facts. I hope you have a great Friday evening. I hope you have a great weekend.
You too, hon. Everybody take care. Bye.
All right.